Ta-da! Welcome everybody, welcome to the Daddy Comes First podcast. What can I say? Leaps and bounds, episode 23, almost a quarter century. Who would have thought? Definitely me. I have big goals and ambitions. Maybe you don't have that, and that's nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. Just remember in the course of your life that you only have a few years of good inside you. My body is falling apart. I'm not even 40. I have a slight, what do you call it, pinch or something going on in my top, upper, bottom flesh where it kisses the spinal area. So every time I turn and look to fling a volley in football, guess what happens? It makes that sound. It pulls on my top bottom thing. There's obviously some kind of crosswise cable going from my spine to my upper left butt cheek. Anyway, the lovely lady down at the physiotherapy has tried to work on me. She's done very well. She's tiny, but she somehow is able to inflict an enormous amount of pain. But she is also a very beautiful lady, so it is very hard to stay focused while she is... It's good that it hurts, is what I'm saying. Because if it didn't, maybe I'd be looking for a divorce and trying to, sort things out with this lady who clearly loves to rub me down. Rub me down. So that's what I'm saying. My body's falling apart. I stepped on a rock in Trinidad 3 weeks ago, and still it's swollen at the bottom of my foot. Now I step on it harder. When you're at home in Trinidad, you just step harder. You're barefoot more often. I guess the grounding or whatever it is, but a rock shot up in the middle of my foot and it started to hurt. And guess what? 3 weeks later, it's still hurting. But that is not gonna get me down. Not gonna get me down. It will not. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is life is short. I knew that I'd be doing 23 episodes because I'm not gonna stop until the government makes me stop. They could try. They could try it. They will not succeed. I sound like I'm giving a speech for some kind of world war. Which I, of course, I'm not, because I don't believe in war. Well, I believe it exists, but I believe it is unnecessary. And wars are still going on. What can I say? Ukrainians, Palestinians, Russians, Israelis, some Americans are dying. Bullets, bombs. Phew, phew, phew. But what do? We just keep fighting. Now family members are angry at each other. My wife got in an argument with one of our family members the other day because they are American liberals. Well, I shouldn't say that. They are Democrats, which means they back the Democratic Party. So, whatever that party tells them, they just do. Because, of course, they're terrified of Donald the Duck Trump. And I guess in some ways he is terrifying. Although I looked something up the other day, which I thought was interesting, because they always said, he's just going to go in there and do all of these executive orders. Do you know that President Biden has only gotten rid of 30% of the ones that he did? I think he did over 200. That's like one a week. So they couldn't be all that bad. They could not be all that bad. God, I love talking about U.S. politics. It's so interesting to me. When I was younger and I would sit around my aunts and uncles listening to them talk about Trinidad and politics, it was truly enjoyable. I had no idea what they were saying because they didn't have any kind of frame of reference, but the heat at which they discuss certain things was so enjoyable. And I'm feeling sad all of a sudden because I guess like it always seemed funny to me, and like even though they shouted at each other, there was always all these jokes that would be kind of slipped in there to keep it light, and they would laugh, and at the end of it they would drink a rum punch and ignore the kids who are swimming, and you know what I mean, ignore the older kids beating up the younger kids outside. You're just swimming, you're down the islands, everybody's looking after everybody, we're at the beach, don't worry, herd mentality. The older kids will save the younger kids. I nearly drowned. But before we get to that, so I guess my sadness comes from the fact that we had one of those conversations the other day. And unfortunately, it was over text, which is never a good idea. And some people got upset. Me and my wife don't agree with a lot of what America does. And unfortunately, we just have to kind of take it because they're the big kids on the playground. And they kind of do what they want. You know what I mean? And that's kind of it. They're kind of like, it's like a big, heavy set, almost on the edge of kind of special needs, maybe like a Forrest Gump rich kid who comes into the playground and it's just like, this is mine, that's mine, I'm taking that, give me the, and you're just like, whoa, we were here first, no, it's mine now. And little Sammy, Uncle Sammy, little Uncle Sammy, don't put Vietnam in a headlock like that. That's not nice. They didn't do anything. Do not do that. That's not nice. Sammy, this is fun. No, bad. No, Sammy, no, don't go near Korea. You don't need to do that, Sammy. I can beat up anybody I want. I won World War II. Well, Sammy, the Russians, remember? They killed 4 to 5 German soldiers. Remember? Sammy. So little Sammy is going around kind of beating up everybody, and everybody's kind of sick of it, but we kind of have to take it, because they have all the guns and they got the gold, man. Not the gold, but the dollar. And the irony is, not the irony, it makes perfect sense. America as a thing is easy to like attach feelings like love and hate to, or hate, I guess. But the people, I do love Americans. I do love Americanos. Yesterday I did an event for them. I live in Ireland, and I did production for this event, and it's like a fake tailgating event, It's like a big hall, and all these people come in and they eat hot dogs and hamburgers, and there's some Irish music and Irish dances, and they were just some nice people, And I'm sure there was a couple of, people who got in fights with their aunties on Facebook there about Trump or Biden. I'm sure there was some people who maybe threw around the N-word when they were kids. I don't have any proof, I'm just guessing. And then they led this kind of chant. Whoa, and they were like doing a hand chop thing, and I was like, ugh, I have no clue. I could be wrong, but it just seemed like they were making fun of some poor First Nations tribe. So I just stayed away from that. But that aside, they were lovely people. They were nice. They were having fun. They were with their kids. They were laughing. So the one we did was for the Florida State University supporters. And it just goes to show you that when you're in a tribe and everybody's on the same page, it's quite lovely. I guess they separated it. I forget who the other university was, Georgia Tech or something. But, wrapped up in that, you meet these people and they're funny and they're big and they're loud and they're heavy and they're shoving burgers and pints into their faces, but they're having a good time. They're not hating anybody and they just want to watch some football. Football, man, just want to watch some football. And I do. I love the Floridians. I love the Californians. I love the New Yorkians. the Georgians, the Mississippians, the Louisianas, wherever, all, you know what I mean? Sometimes I meet people that, they're not the greatest, but like for the most part, they live in the greatest country, i.e., the most mighty, the most impressive, but they have a lot of challenges, you know what I mean? They're hearing every day how other half of the country is, elitist or dumb or, not smart or racist, and kind of somehow still holding our country together. So the people itself, great, But my only concern is how much they follow these politicians who don't give a shit. I mean, literally, tens of thousands of people are dying in the streets from overdoses, and they just think, listen, there's a cure for this, guys, and this is the truth. This is the truth, and I didn't know how to say it. We need to invade another brown country. I'm sorry, it is what it is. We need to invade another brown country. You know why? Because we really don't care when the browns die. We just do not. Anybody who's not white, well, we don't really care. Look at Ukraine, great example. You could put some white babies on the screen, and then we care. We only care when white people die. It's okay that there's a brown genocide, 'cause they're not white, and that's alright. We only care about white people. I should turn that into a song, actually, because it's ridiculous, but it's true. So we had this argument on WhatsApp, stupidly, and then my wife, she's a really deeply good, nice person. She's calling them and telling them how sorry they were. They were like, thank you for the call, because they called my wife a racist, which is crazy. But that is the identity politics that we live in. That is what it is. It's like, if you are doing this thing, which has nothing to do with race, it is inherently racist. Now, there are some hints of racism everywhere, for sure. For instance, make America great again? Again for who? Again for who? Not black people. You know what I mean? Not brown people. They only now starting to see some, you know what I mean? They only now starting to come around for them. Thank God for the 90s. But before that, any rich black people in the 80s? I don't think so. But, through entertainment in the 90s, and just general, like, what else? Well, I don't know, sports maybe too. Just kind of turn people around. So they only now, people of color only now kind of coming around to a good life. And so they're like, again, make America great again? For who? They're like owls. Who? For who? So, anyway, we had a little bit of an argument, and that's okay. We settle up now, and they're coming to visit us, Action Iron, which is fantastic, because we got all that ickiness out of the way, and everybody knows where they stand. We think they are propagandized, they think we are propagandized, so it's kind of like, cool, I know where you stand. You stay on that side, I'll stay on this side. And that's okay. It is okay to disagree. It's okay. So my point being, when I was younger, I would hear my aunts and uncles talk and argue about politics. It was enjoyable for me. It was like watching TV, because they would say personal stuff against each other too, which is real funny. They would go personal and they'd cut people deep, but then they'd turn it into a joke, and all was good, all was well. And I guess I missed that. But while they are getting drunk on rum and beers, the children were killing each other outside or in the water. I mean, I just came back from Trinidad, right? The nephews and the nieces, they fight and they play all kind of stuff. We in Miaro, which is like eastern Trinidad, which is on the Atlantic. So the waves and the sea and the current is always rough. literally the older ones are holding the younger ones by their neck, choking them. And then as they about to take a breath, they ram their faces into an oncoming wave, so they almost drown. And then they get up, they cough a couple times, and then they jump back in the fight. They come in with flying fists, they kick in, they're grabbing balls and scraping. They're learning to survive. They are learning to survive. You all know that's how I learned to survive with my brothers. We beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. And I was young, so I had to use weapons. Busted my brother's shin open with a rock once. It had to be done. Because there's only so long you could get shit slide before you're like, you know what, if I don't do something here, you know, if these men aren't scared of me tripping out and doing something crazy, then, well, they're just going to keep doing it, aren't they? Which they did, so it didn't really work. And all it did was turn me into a deeply violent person. And what I mean by that is it's just, I'm very nice and I'm, you know, on top. It's good, it's friendly, I love everybody, I love everything. But deep in my core, there's a little monster. And he roams around. And he's just waiting. You know what I mean? He's not in any mood to get anything done. But he's down there and he's doing sets. Every morning he's getting up and he's getting his work done. He's staying fit. Just in case that monster has to come out at some point. Because we live in a society that's, you know, well, surrounded by luxuries and good things, but every now and again, somebody gets in a situation where they're like, boy, I wish I still had that violent monster deep inside of me to pull him out right now and decapitate this person. Maybe not decapitate. But there is something about having a little beast inside you that feels comforting. You know, like I talk about that time when the guy brought out the hammer and tried to beat the neighbor to death. It's very comforting to know that there was that level of animal there. It's just like having an army. You know, those guys are going to come back from war and they're going to have PTSD and they're probably going to shoot the neighbor for parking on their lawn or whatever. But it's nice to know that you have those sociopaths, deeply damaged, sick sociopaths with guns in their hands, but the guns are pointed outside. That's good to know. So you could sit down in air condition, aim at your balls on a hot summer day and watch reruns of whatever that thing is. The Last Day from the Sun with that Sheldon fella. What's it called? Oh God, the show about the nerds deep in oh my God. You know what I'm talking about. Third Rock from the Sun or whatever. There's people out there with knives gutting children so that you can lie down in an air-controlled, climate-controlled room and pick from thousands of videos to watch on your large TV. And the electricity is never going to go anywhere. It's not controlled by anybody. It's controlled by your dollars. And as long as you wake up every day and slave yourself to the bone, making money for this system, you'll never have to worry about running out of those comfies. As long as you get up hours before you really want to get up, put on clothes you don't want to wear, talk to people all day long you don't want to, engage in soul-breaking conversations about nothingness in order to just let time pass so that you could get in your car, scream at people in traffic on your way home, hug your children, spend 45 minutes with them, put them to bed, stay up very late on your phone so that you're exhausted for the next day and have even less patience. You're always going to have that electricity. It's never going to get turned off because the almighty dollar will keep it on. As long as you are able to give away an enormous portion of your soul every day for that, it's not even paper anymore, for that electronic transfer of fully 100% real money. It's real. They tell us it's real. It's real. Okay, as long as you do that, you'll never have to worry about being too hot or too cold or too bored. That's the real currency, isn't it? Boredom. My son tells me every time he's bored. I say, are you bored or are you boring? I feel sometimes like I'm bored. Even when I'm watching TV, I'm like, I'm bored. Even though there's I'm watching something, it's a rom-com or it's a thing, there's explosions, everything has violence in it now. So it's so much fun. You just get up, do what you don't want to do for 10 hours, come home, spend an hour and a half with your wife and your family, and go to bed. And then on the weekends, it gets to be all you. If you could fight through the exhaustion of selling your soul for 10 hours a day for 5 days straight, you get to go to the park. And if you save up enough, you get to go to another country. And then guess what? All of a sudden, you love life again. Because you get up when you want. You take a nap in the middle of the day for 2 fucking hours, as long as your wife is cool and she's like, yeah, cool. You lie down with the child, the one that naps, you lie down, you cuddle next to him, and you're like, wow, I wish I could cuddle with this child for 2 hours every day, in the middle of the day. Wouldn't that be great? You get up, you're kind of stoned, you have a coffee at 2:30, the sun is roasting outside, this coffee's still hot. You watch the waves lap over your nephews and nieces struggling for breath as they try to strangle each other in the surf. And you giggle. And you tell yourself it's healthy because guess what? It is. Because for them, when they are battling each other, scrapes on their back, blood coming from their gums, they live in. Livin. You know what I mean? And then the vacation ends and you head back home and you think, you know what? This job ain't that bad. This job ain't that bad. And you carry on. Or you come back from vacation and you think, this job sucks. And you find a new job. And you kind of like it. You say, you know what? This is fun. These people are not sociopaths. I gotta stick around for a while. I get to make my own hours. Ha! Come on now. My point is, just remember, if you're feeling a certain way, it's probably because you're right. Your instincts are always right. Trust your first instincts. Take that vacation. Do that thing. Call your mother. Because we don't have long. And life is too short it's too short. Full stop. Life is too short. I love you all. Thank you very much. This has been Daddy Comes First. If you could share and tell your friends about it, I would greatly appreciate it. I try to make you laugh. I try to make you think. I try to make your dicks hard and your vaginas wet sometimes. So that's all for me. That's all I can say. I love you all. Daddy comes first.